Now, children, again, I welcome you all to this session of English literature, and we are going to continue from where we had left in the last turn. In the last turn, we had come across the fact about how the Chinese statue reached to the auction scene, and later on, we also come to know that the statue about which we have discussed throughout the chapter, that is the statue of Emperor Kung, that statue which was considered a very fine work of some artist, some architect, but later on when it was given in the auction, it was given up for the auction. We come to know that actually the statue was not at all original. The statue was not original, and the originality was there in the base of the statue was just a replica, or you can say the duplicate of the original statue of Emperor Kung, and it was a replica, or you can say it was a replica or the copy of that statue. So, but throughout the story, we have read that it was a original statue, and Sir Alexander Heathcote, who had acquired the statue initially from the old craftsman, after acquiring that statue, he kept the statue very close to himself, with the thought that the statue was one of the masterpiece of one of the very famous craftsman or architect, you can say, and that statue should not ever be sold. Rather, it should keep on passing from one generation to another as a heirloom. So this is what we have read in the story, and but later on, towards the end of the story, we have come to know that the statue about which we have discussed throughout the chapter was actually a duplicate one, was actually a replica of the original statue, and in fact it was base that was original. Though when the statue was given to Sir Alexander Heathcote, that old craftsman had attached the base just from the stock of bases that he had. From that stock of bases, he had attached a base to the statue, and Sir Alexander Heathcote got the feeling that it was just a common base, but something was special about the statue, not about the base. So, but towards the end of the story, we come to know that it was actually the base which was original, and which was very high on cost, which went very high on cost in the action scene. So when we will discuss, now we will discuss the theme, the message and all. So let us come to it. Today's date is 27. English literature. The Chinese statue. See, children, now talking about the story itself, firstly, whenever we discuss anything, whenever we discuss any story or any poem, first of all, whenever we discuss any piece of literature, first of all, what we try to judge is that the theme on which that particular story or that particular poem is based upon. So, firstly, we are going to discuss the theme of the story. Now children, since I have told you that initially in the story we had come to know about the originality, about the perfection that was being attached to the statue, but towards the end of the story we have come to know that it was actually the base of the statue which was original, and it was not the statue which was original. Statue was just a replica, and we have come to know this when the statue was put up for auction, when the auctioneer tried to judge the value of the statue. So First theme could be that it is a sort of satire. It is a sort of satire for the lovers of art. It is a sort of satire for the lovers of art. Now, how can we say that it is a satire for the lovers of art? We can say this that the statue is a satire for the lovers of art, because initially in the statue, initially in the story, we have come to know that Sir Alexander, who was the first person to possess the statue from the old craftsman, assumed himself to be a perfectionist in judging a piece of art, and that he pretended himself in front of the craftsman that he was very fond of Chinese art and architecture, and that the statue about which we have discussed throughout the story, it is revealed in the story that the statue was actually an original one and an excellent piece of art and architecture. And because of Sir Alexander's belief, we have been deceived throughout the story about the originality of the statue, and towards the end only we have come to know that it was not the original statue, it was just a replica, it was just a copy. So it can be the story can be called as a satirical story for the lovers of art, those who assume themselves to be the lovers of art, or those who assume themselves that they have every bit of knowledge those who assume themselves that they have every bit of knowledge about that particular piece of art in which they are interested. They don't have exact knowledge, they don't have complete knowledge, there is something which lags behind, and that is why we can say the story can be called as a satire for the lovers of art. Now, another theme on which the story is based, that is family traditions. Family traditions. Now, how can we say that the story is based on family tradition? See, it was firstly when Sir Alexander Heathcote had acquired the statue from the old craftsman, and when finally he went back to his place and he kept his statue with him, and then after once he was about to die in his last days of his life, he made his will, and in that will he had mentioned that the statue about which the statue that he had acquired from the old craftsman shall remain with the family, with the Heathcote's family for generations to come, and that the statue should pass on to the eldermost child of each generation. Eldermost child of each generation. So we can say that the family lays importance on family traditions, and family traditions which should be upheld, which should be given topmost priority. Whereas the last person who acquired the statue was not at all concerned, and that is Alex Heathcote, he was not at all concerned, and then he viewed the statue as something which would yield him money, and that is why we can say that we should pay importance to our own family traditions and beliefs. They play very important role. They play very important role in certain phases of our lives. Had this man, Sir Alex Heathcote, had he been influenced by his ancestors, then he wouldn't have been in such a state where he would have to sell the statue, which was considered as a heirloom and which was written clearly in the So of Sir Alexander Heathcote about the statue, that it should keep on passing from one generation to the other. Is this much clear to all of you? Is this much clear? Okay. Thank you, children.